Welcome to this explainer. Look, we're talking about a massive, pivotal moment every single beginner entrepreneur has to face. You've got an idea. Maybe you even landed your first customer. You know exactly what problem you're solving, and you've got a rough version of your product ready to go. Basically, you're officially operating in the real world. But right at this exact threshold, you hit a brick wall. You realize you need to formalize this thing. Going from a theoretical idea to a real-world operation, yeah, it can feel incredibly daunting. So today, we're pulling insights directly from Jonathan Reed's book, Start a Business from Zero, Build Skills, Change Behavior, Create Stability. We're going to break down exactly how to navigate this transition from zero to reality step by step and totally skip the unnecessary stress. Let's get into it.
Okay, so you sit down and ask yourself, what is this business? Legally. Just saying it makes everything feel overwhelming, doesn't it? I bet your heart rate might even spike a little just thinking about it. Suddenly, you're swimming in words like liability, incorporation, taxes, heavy legal jargon that sounds like it belongs to folks in very expensive suits. It creates this wild illusion that you literally need a law degree just to start, and that any tiny mistake you make right now is going to have these fatal permanent consequences. But, as Jonathan Reed points out in the book, this fear, it's totally natural, but honestly, it's mostly completely unfounded. What's really happening is that trying to formalize a business just trips a wire in your brain. It activates your uncertainty sensitivity. Your brain basically misinterprets a simple lack of legal knowledge as some massive existential threat. And what's super interesting about this is how perfectly it maps to the most common beginner mistakes. I mean, in our desperate search for the perfect, 100% foolproof legal plan, we fall face first into the analysis paralysis trap. You know the drill. Over-researching every single tiny legal nuance, having 50 browser tabs open until your laptop sounds like it's going to take off. Or maybe we pick some incredibly complex legal structure just because we want to sound serious to our friends. Or, and this might be the worst one, the overwhelm gets so bad we just avoid the decision entirely. We just operate in the shadows, which, by the way, creates a huge financial mess down the line. The result of all this? Artificial friction. Instead of going out and signing those first clients, you are literally delaying the actual launch of your business just because you're drowning in paperwork. Crazy, right? Let's hit pause and look at the psychology behind this for a second. This decision paralysis, it's completely driven by what we call the illusion of certainty. It's this false belief we all have that just gathering a little more information will somehow magically eliminate all the risk. We trick ourselves. We think, oh, if I just read one more article on tax law, I'll feel totally confident. But reality check, past a certain point, more info doesn't give you clarity. It just dumps more confusion on your plate. Trying to fully master these complex legal systems before you even take your first step, it actually severely sabotages your operational start. Your goal on day one isn't to get a flawless, master's degree level understanding of corporate law. Not at all. Your goal is simply to get a functional, sufficient understanding so you can safely act. So here is a brilliant, totally game-changing rule of thumb from Reed. He uses this fantastic metaphor. Choosing a legal structure is exactly like dressing for the weather. Think about it for a second. You wouldn't throw on a heavy, insulated winter parka in the middle of a blazing hot summer just because, hey, it might snow in December and I'll need a coat then, right? That's ridiculous. You choose the clothes that match your current environment. Well, your legal structure operates the exact same way. It needs to match your current stage, not your grand 10-year future vision. If you are literally just testing a small idea in your local town, you absolutely do not need a legal structure built for a multinational tech conglomerate. You just need what fits right now. And I love this because it gives us a completely different way to look at the whole topic. Instead of seeing a legal structure as this rigid, restrictive cage locking you in with rules, let's reframe it. Think of it simply as a container for responsibility. That's it. It's a flexible tool. This container just dictates where the risk lands, how the money you make is treated, and who is ultimately on the hook for obligations. Now, some of these containers are super simple, which is perfect if you're just holding a few small, low-risk obligations. Other containers are heavy-duty, built with thick, reinforced walls to hold massive amounts of risk. You just have to pick the container that can safely hold what you're carrying today. Remember, the structure is a tool to support your momentum, not a brick wall built to stop you in your tracks. All right, let's strip away all the legal jargon and translate this into plain English with a couple of really basic examples. On one side of the ring, we have the sole proprietorship. Think of this as the simplest container imaginable, basically a cardboard box. It's super simple, there's practically zero friction to get it started, and it costs next to nothing. The catch? You and your business are legally the exact same thing. That means zero liability separation. Now, on the other side, you've got an LLC, or limited liability company. Here, you're upgrading to a stronger container, kind of like a basic metal safe. It takes a little more paperwork, sure, but in exchange, it builds a vital wall, a legal separation between your personal savings and your business's liabilities. It's not magic, folks. There's simply two different tools designed for two totally different sets of needs.
So how do we turn this into a practical decision? Well, you match your choice directly to the current scale and risk level of your specific business. Look at it this way. If you're just dipping your toes in with a low-risk consulting gig on the weekends, your costs and liabilities are practically zero. In that case, the high simplicity and low cost of a sole proprietorship, usually a perfect fit. But say you're starting to manufacture physical products, or maybe you're hiring subcontractors. Suddenly, a single mistake could actually cost you your personal savings. In that scenario, the medium cost and slightly higher complexity of an LLC becomes an incredibly cheap insurance policy to protect yourself. It always comes back to matching the tool to the weight of the task.
Which brings us to a concept that will literally revolutionize how you run your business. It's called satisficing. It's a term from decision-making psychology, and it basically means choosing an option that is workable, good enough, and totally appropriate for your current context. You do this instead of obsessively hunting for some flawless permanent master plan. And let me be super clear about something. This is not being lazy. No way. This is supreme efficiency. When you just focus on what's good enough for right now, you completely eliminate that vague, heavy anxiety and replace it with forward momentum. Look, a flawless, forever perfect legal option, it does not exist at the starting line. Satisficing lets you trade all that theoretical worrying for real, tangible action in the actual market. And this loops right back to the core wisdom of Reed's book. Making a choice, literally any sufficient choice, carries a massive psychological payoff. The moment you formalize your business, even with the most basic structure, you instantly pop that bubble of muddy anxiety. You turn it into clear, manageable responsibility. Suddenly, your idea officially stops being a weekend hobby and becomes a real breathing project. Making that good enough decision built incredible momentum. You finally stop stressing over the hypothetical what-ifs of future lawsuits or crazy tax brackets, and you get to channel all your energy into the stuff that actually matters, serving your customers and building an awesome product.
Okay, to make this super actionable, here is your safe, clear path forward. Step 1, just understand the very basics of the most common structures. Step 2, take a hard, sober look at your current scale and risk level. Step 3, pick one. Just make a starting choice. Remember, you aren't getting a face tattoo here. Loads of incredibly successful entrepreneurs change their legal structure as they grow. But please pay close attention to Step 4. This explainer is here to give you a functional foundation, but if you're dealing with complex tax issues, if you're suddenly bringing on investors, or your finances are a bit tangled up, do not guess. Seriously, always consult a certified professional like a lawyer or a CPA to handle the complicated stuff.
So I want to leave you with a pretty provocative thought to chew on today. Are you currently trying to make a perfect long-term decision or a practical starting one? Take a second and really honestly ask yourself that. Is the thing holding you back right now a genuine, literal, legal roadblock? Or is it just fear, perfectly camouflaged as a search for the ultimate 10-year master plan? Stop searching for a flawless strategy for a decade from now. Pick the tool that works for today, make it official, and just get to work. I really hope this explainer has given you the clarity you need to finally break out of analysis paralysis. Go choose your container and turn that idea into a reality.